I'm still a platinum fan. Actually, to be honest, and there's no reason I wouldn't be, but a little bit baffled that platinum has been at such a discount for as long as it's been this time. I mean, platinum is called the noble metal. It's 15 times rarer than gold. Mm-hmm. So if you just would use my argument of, the natural ratio of silver, and it might get there. I said might. I'm not saying it will. Mm-hmm. You could use that same thinking and say, well, why is the platinum, 15 times more expensive than gold if it's 15 times rarer? And that's an argument against, these natural ratios. I mean, a lot of people make that argument. I don't really make it that often because the market proves that it's really not that valid an argument. It does suggest that platinum is undervalued relative to gold. I believe that it is. Gold and platinum usually have a reverse, meaning that platinum has a premium over gold. So you can apply the strategy I just outlined into platinum and swap it for gold. The problem I'm having with platinum is I don't understand, again, why it's been at this place for so long, other than it's primarily thought of throughout the globe as an industrial metal only. And that's really not true. I mean, it's got all the classic properties that Aristotle outlined for money. It's fungible, it's divisible, it's high unit value per unit, and all those things. All of the classic reasons that something is money, which are the precious metals, applies. But no one really uses it in that manner. So it's kind of got what silver has somewhat, which is its industrial use only. I would say if you're willing to take the risk that a small portion in platinum and or palladium, in fact, I like palladium a little bit more than platinum, right, it would be worth it. But I don't want to misguide anyone. And I am concerned that we are in a situation where only the two precious metals are the primary monetary metals that have always been monetary metals, gold and silver, will be leading up everything against everything else. In other words, the commodities boom isn't coming back. Now it may, and I'm not sure what Jim Rogers feels about that currently, but I think we're in a position where we could see the metals moving up higher and higher while we really don't see much moving up across the board in the commodity sector, meaning the base metals, copper, for instance, and cotton, cocoa. I mean, this demand that we've had, driven primarily by China's growth, has subsided. And I don't think we'll reignite in a huge way. I think the monetary problems are so big that the run will be the run to gold. And as a result of that, running into silver as well. That will take platinum and palladium higher because they are subsets. And people will look and say, geez, I'd rather own an ounce of platinum than an ounce of gold. It's 15 times rarer. And then the spread narrows because, there's a more of a demand for platinum as an asset protector, and then the platinum ratio gets narrower and it becomes more cost per ounce of gold, which I think will happen. But regardless, interesting times. Think these things through, become educated, and I think one statement I've been making this in almost all the interviews now is we're in a precarious position in the globe. I mean, it doesn't matter where you live on the planet. No one is really protected. The financial markets affect everyone. And money alone isn't the answer. I mean, if you go back into my history and it's not about me, it's about the idea. But, 20 years ago, the idea about financial freedom was freedom. I mean, if you had, enough money, whatever that was for you individually, because, some people are happy with 1 million, some people need 10, and I guess some think they need 100, but regardless, whatever that number is, if you achieve that number, you were free. You could live where you wanted. You could do what you wanted. You could, be greedy and, just party all the time, or you could, give money away or start a foundation, or there's all these options. In other words, you had true freedom. Today, financial freedom doesn't mean that. And the reason it doesn't mean that is there are too many other problems. There's too much corruption across the board. You have corruption in the political status across the board. You have corruption in the food supply. You have corruption in the air supply. You have corruption in the water supply. You have too much corruption across the board. So money alone doesn't give you all the choices and benefits it did, let's say, 2 decades ago. There's too many other things going on. So you really need to think through a strategy that represents total harmony on your basis. In other words, individual, family, your friends and family, basically your community is how I would like to think of it. Not the lone wolf status of, well, me. No, you want to think about less about you and more about your community, your friends, family, and that type of thing. And what you could do or would do in the event that things start to unravel further, and I believe that they will. Not really doom and gloom. I'm a realist. This has happened before in history. I believe in the spirit of the human species. I think that when the going gets tough, a lot of people rise up and are their best. Some won't. Most will. And it's going to be a challenge, and I think a lot of people will make it to the other side, meaning that after the reset, we'll probably have a new value structure. Money alone is certainly not the focus of your life. Or at least in my view, it shouldn't be. It's part of it. It's important, but just make it that, a part of your life that's important. But really, it's about how you can be of maximum service to others and what you can do to better this world on an individual basis. And once you've done that, you become your best, then you can project that onto the world. This is the way really to live, and I didn't mean to make it a philosophical lecture, but it's really what you need to, I think, stay balanced because there's so much going on so rapidly. The last Morgan report I did was really a test because there was so much that had happened in 3 weeks' time in the financial markets, and to cover it all and connect the dots was a real challenge. I did it to the best of my ability.